Say your thing.
I forget my thing.
Every time.
What is it? And welcome back to another great episode of the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Hey.
How's it going?
Oh, tired AF.
Yeah, I'm exhausted right now. And it's a good thing because we're going to be talking about work-life balance on today's episode.
And how we struggle every day.
Yeah, and how we decided to add a podcast on top of everything else that you do.
Right?
Because why not?
Yeah, why not?
And just like everything else, it's picking up, so now we're committed.
I know we have to do it every week, even if we don't want to. Because people literally like text me or comment on like Sundays, like, can't wait for tomorrow. And I'm like,
yay.
Like I really am excited and I love how well it's doing. But yeah, on days like today where our son came in the room at 5:20
in the morning.
Yeah,
that was fun. That was
fun. And then you decided to
work dayside.
Pick up a shift. This is normally your day off.
Yep.
And it's also the day that JR had a cold. So he couldn't go to school.
Right. Well, I picked up the shift thinking he would be in school while I was working.
And that I could still work. Because Sunday and Monday, on your days off, is when I usually get some work done.
Right.
Because you can manage the toddler. So.
Speaking of the toddler, we have a fun little segment where we asked him a bunch of questions.
Yeah, we decided to try and interview him. It went about as expected.
Yeah. And it's a pre-recorded segment because we record this show when he's
specifically after he goes to bed, because
if not, you'd hear a toddler running around and screaming, touching everything.
Don't touch that. Don't touch this. Yeah.
So enjoy it.
Hello.
You excited to be on the podcast?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Mommy's going to ask you some questions, okay?
Okay.
What's your name?
I don't know.
Yes, you do. What's your name?
A Hulk.
You're a Hulk?
Yeah.
Okay. How old are you?
3.
You're 3?
I mean 4.
No, not yet.
You're almost 4.
Almost 4.
Yeah.
What's Mommy's name? Don't yell.
Crystal.
Good job. How old is Mommy?
Are you 10?
Maybe. How old is Daddy?
How old you do?
How old do you think I am?
10 or 4?
4.
And you 4 too?
Don't yell, baby. Are you allowed in Mommy's office?
No.
Who's your best friend?
Jeremiah.
Jeremiah?
Yeah.
Is Mommy your best friend?
No, Jeremiah. Max is your best friend.
Max? I don't know Max.
Don't touch
What's your favorite song?
Just talk.
Is it Dance Monkey?
Yes.
Yeah, you like that song?
Yeah.
What's your favorite place to go?
The hallway.
The hallway?
Yeah.
What do you do in the hallway?
And play ball and... Hold on, Mommy. There we go.
There you go. So what do you do in the hallway?
Play ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hit the castle.
Hit the castle?
Yeah. Now it's your turn, Daddy.
Okay.
Daddy, what's your favorite food?
Pizza.
Hey, that's my favorite.
That's your favorite too?
Yeah.
So, Jared, what makes you happy?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
Yay! See, what do you want to be when you grow up?
A police car.
You want to be a police car? You mean a police officer?
Yes.
Yeah? What are you going to do when you're a police officer?
I will get all the bad boys.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want for your birthday?
A police car.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you excited about your baby brother?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe we're all done.
Maybe we're all done?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're back. That was a fun little segment.
What'd you think of that?
You know, it was as good as we could have hoped for. We're a 3-year-old.
We got some good ones, though.
It was fun.
And I mean, little kids' voices are always super cute. So, we'll just talk about, work-life balance. I've seen the topic come up in a lot of the groups lately. And the comments are always the same. So like there was one today that I was watching specifically because we had already planned this to be our topic tonight. And so when I saw the post, I was like, I commented and I was like, oh, that's what we're doing on the podcast tonight. So I'll be watching these comments. And it was just like, how do you manage family, work, design, production, shipping, and all of that? And basically, again, the comments are always the same. And they're like, what? Balance is what? And,
right. What's balance?
Yeah. Struggle is real. It's basically just chaos. And it really is true. I mean, so we can talk about, before I go into like some of the comments on the post, well, actually, let's do the comments first. And then we can talk about what we attempt to do to find the balance.
Some sort of balance. It's crazy.
And it's an attempt. Some days it works amazingly. Other days like today, it fails horribly. Yeah. Again, since he woke up so early and then John had to work and then he was sick, I had big plans to do things today.
Man, when you woke me up at 5:20 to tell me he was awake, you're like, he's awake. It's 5:20. I jumped up and thought that my alarm didn't go off and that we were late. We were about to miss the school bus.
Nope.
And we didn't go through his whole thing. But then I was like, wait a minute. Did she say 5:20?
Yep, that's
because my alarm goes off at 6:45 so that he could be out in the school bus by 7:20. So I was like, wait, and I looked at the clock and I'm like, that says 5:20. Why is she waking me up like that? We're not late. And I'm like, oh, because he's awake. Because he wasn't in the room. He was in the bathroom.
Right, but he had opened our door already.
And then the hallway light was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm struggling right now. If you guys can't hear it, I am struggling right now.
I am too, and I even had a nap. I mean, but I'm pregnant and I don't sleep very well.
You might lose me in between blinks. So if I'm quiet for a while and you hear snoring, I apologize.
But I don't sleep very well. I kind of toss and turn. It's hard for me to find a comfortable position. So, I already don't ever wake up like rested.
Refreshed.
Yeah. And then, with him coming in at 5:20 and I was in and out of consciousness while, we were trying to get him we tried to make him go back to sleep and then.
Which failed horribly.
Yeah. And then we finally just let him come in the room and we tried to get him quiet. And then, as soon as
caved.
Right. And then as soon as he does seem to get quiet, that's when John's alarm went off and he had to go to work. And then I had to get up and then, put him down for his nap. And that was definitely my time. My hope was to actually get some stuff done that I didn't actually get done yesterday, and I was falling asleep before I even put him down. So I took a nap, and then here we are. And I had all these big plans of things to do today, and I did literally none of them.
It doesn't help that the routine to put him down includes turning off getting him tired to take a nap or to just go to sleep.
Unfortunately, works on us as well.
Exactly. I walk out of that room half asleep every time, whether I walked in tired or not, because between the singing, the reading the books, you're sitting in that comfortable lazy boy.
Oh, that chair is amazing.
I fell asleep.
Thank you to my dad I
fell asleep on it this morning.
Yeah, that lazy boy was a gift from my dad for JR, actually, for our first son. And at first I thought he was kind of crazy that he wanted to buy us a lazy boy.
We just wanted a glider.
Yeah, we just wanted a glider. And now it sucks because it really spoiled us. And I'm really struggling with what to do for this one. Do we take the lazy boy out of JR's room and put something else in there? Anything we put in there will not hold up to how amazing that
either way,
chair is
one
right
routine is not going to be as amazing as the other one.
Exactly. Or we just buckle and buy another one.
No, we're not. That was expensive.
I know, but it's really nice. And with babies, you sleep in those things. And with toddlers, you sleep in those things. So it's really... But anyway, so let's see.
What were some of the comments?
Let's go through some of the comments on here. I do it after they go to bed or when they're in school, which is basically what I try to do for the most part. He's in school from 7:30 to 2:30. John works evenings, and so he doesn't get home until midnight at the earliest. And so then it's 1 or 2 at the earliest before we're going to sleep. And so then turning around at 6:45 to get him ready for school. By the time we get him on the bus, most of the time we're going back to sleep. And again, we're kind of enjoying that time right now that we have it until there's a baby, and that won't necessarily always be an option.
Which means I don't know when we're going to be doing this podcast.
Oh, there might be, it might be in bits and pieces. You might hear a crying baby, you know, who knows? It's going to be interesting for sure.
You're going to roll with the punches with us.
Yeah. I'm definitely terrified of adding a second, but you know, you just...
Too late now.
I know, right? Let's see. If you figure it out, let me know. I work once my son goes to bed. I just end up either neglecting one or the other. So, yeah, it's a lot of... This one, it's impossible to balance it all. The next one, it's the struggle is real. The next one is I just lose my mind. So it's really... we're all in the same boat, especially with you add in the pandemic and some kids still being home and, you know, not having less help.
Right.
You know, in the past, maybe you could, you know, hire a friend or hire a neighbor or, you know, do something like that. But now it's, you know, you're a little bit more cautious about how many people you see and who comes over and where you send your kids and all that. So that adds another level of difficulty onto something that was already difficult. Someone mentioned Rockstar Husband, which I can attest to as well. You know, without your support, it definitely wouldn't be possible. And even with it, it's still difficult, you know, because you know that there's going to be things that fall through the cracks. Like, I mean, we've basically completely given up on the fact that our house is going to be immaculate. It's never going to happen. We really just...
Pretty good right now.
It's surprisingly, it's pretty good right now. We've been able to like maintain this, but...
Right.
There's times where it just gets out of control, and then all of a sudden we have to spend, you know, a whole Sunday cleaning it up.
Right.
But, and you have to choose what's important. You know, am I going to spend 3 hours cleaning the house, or am I going to spend 3 hours working on orders? I'm going to spend 3 hours with my family.
And if you're in the position that you can outsource,
well, so
we just started.
Yes,
I looked into wash and folds for laundry
because we struggled,
we were falling
big time
behind on the folding part.
Yeah.
We had the wash.
We'd at least get it in the washer, but then it would sit in the hamper for
right. We would
forever.
Wash it and dry it, but then it wouldn't leave that. It'd be a clean closed hamper.
Right.
And then everything gets
and you
wrinkled.
Just get dressed out of the hamper.
Right, and then you go searching.
A mess, yeah.
Every day's a scavenger
hunt. I couldn't find... I could never find
socks.
A specific shirt. Yeah, I was out of socks trying to find socks. Needle in a haystack.
Right, whenever I was looking for mine, I'd find yours. And when I was looking for yours, I'd find mine.
Right.
So things just never got put away. They got clean. They got washed.
We were lucky to even...
They just weren't put away. So I was like, it can't be that crazy.
Yeah.
So I looked into it and found it's $1 a pound. And for, you know, we tried it for the first time. It was great.
This weekend.
It was great. They were super nice at this one laundromat that I went to. And luckily I can drop it off on Saturday
before I go
to work, and then Sunday I just pick it up. So it's kind of like it's nice to not have.
Well, you can even do same day. They said too as well.
Right. You could do same day.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like it is 10 minutes away. So I feel like it'd be better for me to drop it off on my way to work and then pick it up the next day instead of going there, dropping it off, coming back home, and then going there in, you know, whatever, an hour, 2 hours, however long it takes.
Yeah.
But it is nice to not have to worry about, oh, did I clean? You know, is his blanket and crib sheet
Right, for school.
clean and ready to go for school?
How many times do we remember that at Sunday night at
right,
10 p.m. when we're packing everything
right,
up?
because I'm thinking, oh, I didn't do it on my first day off.
Right.
I'll get it in tomorrow. But for his school, it's too late.
Right.
So
You have to do it
So I have
Sunday.
to. So I'd be like, you'd be like, oh, are we going to bed? I'm like, I can't. I gotta wait for the washer to stop.
Right.
To switch it over.
Yeah.
To the dryer. And yeah, now it's great. Not, so far week 1.
Right.
It was nice. And
It was
it's
what,
not
$12?
$12. It's $1 a pound, and last week's came out to about 10 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And then $2 for, I guess, taxes or whatever. So yeah, it was
Yeah.
$12, which is doable on
Yeah.
a weekly basis.
For sure.
For not having to think about laundry.
Well, and then, so that saves us the time of loading the washer from the dryer, and then also
Forgetting the washer.
forgetting or folding everything. And, if business is doing well, just think, okay, well, this one order goes to laundry, if you want to think about it that way, and be like, this one order makes it so that now, because now that you don't have to deal with laundry on Sundays, you can hopefully spend more time with JR, and you're not having or even actually add
up
in
the house or adding
and
another chore.
Yeah, but taking him with you even
Right.
will it'll help me, because then you guys will be out of the house. He loves going anywhere with you, basically. So anywhere's an adventure, and you guys can go grab the laundry and maybe stop by the park on the way back, or whatever. So delegating where you can is huge. We haven't actually done it yet, but I've been talking a lot about trying to get a cleaning lady a couple times a week. Not a couple times a week, couple times a month. And just seeing how much that is, and just, them getting to the floors, and just wipe downs that we just don't really get to as much as we want to. And then I feel like it'll also help us keep on top of it too, because you kind of clean before the cleaning lady gets there.
Right.
And so, you don't want her whoever, to have to move a bunch of stuff in order to clean the house. You hopefully keep it a little bit tidier.
And it gives them more time, because if they have to clean this out of the way to clean that, now
they have less time to do something else.
Right. And then coming once a month.
Right.
It's kind of like they're already coming once a month, so it kind of helps in the clean, because it's usually like the first one is the rough one, and then then the trouble is staying on top of it when you're like, oh, I just cleaned last week,
right?
I can it can go a little bit longer, and then before you know it, you're back at like a deep clean for the first time in a while, and
So basically, if we are able to hire that out as well, again, it's more time for us to be able to spend together, because every Sunday that you're home, the second we wake up, JR is wanting to, Daddy, do you want to play ball? Do you want to play trains? Do you want to play trucks?
Right, million miles an hour.
Just, can we go to the park? Like, he wants to do all the things, because he knows that's the only full day he has with you. He has you, half days on Monday after he gets out of school. But he wants all of your time, if at all possible, on Sundays. And so it's always hard, and that's, again, unfortunately, when you're off, that usually means that I'm in my office, because it's uninterrupted time in my office. And then, I'll hear him, oh, Daddy, let's play trains. And you're like, oh, I got to do the dishes first. And then, so it sucks, because then you kind of have to you have to choose those things after spending time potentially with your kids who are, begging for your attention, or you try and save it for when they're sleeping or napping, which, a lot of times it's the second you put them down on Sundays, then that's when you're mowing the lawn and weed whacking.
But then it only allows for that, because his nap is only so long, so it's not like I can get all the chores done on his naps.
Yeah, you do what you can during the nap, but then that doesn't complete it all.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And then I save stuff for Monday when he is at school to do it. But then, yeah.
And then it's hard because then a lot of times we're catching up on sleep.
Right.
And
trying to anyway.
Yeah. And not chasing around a toddler. So sometimes we literally just sit there and do nothing because it's hard to be able to do that ever.
And that's when the laundry doesn't get folded.
Exactly.
Usually. That's what happens.
Yep.
Everything gets done, you rest, and then you look at the laundry basket like, oh.
Dang it.
Still got to fold that.
Right.
And then 1 week turns into 2. And then 2 turns into 3. And before you know, you have 2 hampers full of clean laundry.
Yeah.
And a dryer full of laundry.
We had a pretty good system before I got pregnant.
Again, it's always in the upkeep.
Mm-hmm.
When you knock it out.
We figured out which chores each other hated. And so I really hated, laundry? And you really hated dishes. And I didn't mind dishes. Or no, cooking. I hate cooking. And so you took... Dishes. Right, and so you took most of the cooking, like you would cook, before you go to work.
Right.
And then I would take care of all of the dishes. And then I got pregnant. And then, struggled with
and is
energy.
Allergic to dishes now.
Oh, my God. I've literally...
I think she's allergic to Dawn soap.
My nausea can be triggered by you, and you've seen it happen. It literally, it can be nothing. It can be something small. And the first time I had a really bad hit with it was I was about to start dishes, and I don't know if it was the smell of them or the way they looked. Well, then I was dry heaving into the sink for 10 minutes. And JR's like, it's okay, Mommy. Be careful. It's okay. And needless to say, no dishes got done. So, yeah, we had this decent system before then. And then it just kind of went out the window. And we've been struggling to kind of manage it.
It's always in the upkeep because I went a strong, I think 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Of dishes.
Mm-hmm.
Of putting everything in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
And then emptying out in the morning.
Right away. Yeah.
And then putting it and then doing that. And then what sucks is you slip on one day.
Yep.
And then the next day's on top of that. And our sink, I mean, I don't know if the sink is small.
It is small.
Or what, but it's 2 days and our sink looks like it's overflowing.
Right.
And then you're
so bad.
And then it looks a lot worse than it really is though.
Well, but then it looks overwhelming. And so then you're just right. I don't have it in me.
But it looks worse because it only takes 5 or 10 minutes to really get those into the dishwasher. But then it's oh, but wait, I didn't empty the dishwasher, which was...
Yeah, because, so now it's not just, let me just do these dishes in the sink real quick. Right. And it's well, first I have to empty the whole dishwasher and then clean all those and then put them in the dishwasher. And then it's just
Man, adulting sucks.
It really does. It really does.
His life being through... Look, he's sleeping right now.
I know.
He gets to sleep.
Yeah.
We don't get to sleep. He gets to sleep.
I know.
He doesn't pay any bills. He just lives here.
He really does.
That's all he does. And plays with his toys and goes to sleep. He eats when... he's
so
Mommy, I'm hungry. Mommy, I'm hungry. And then we jump and give him food.
Oh, man. So one thing...
I can't wait till he's an adult.
Right? Where he can help.
Gotcha. No. It's gotcha.
Right? It's all fun and games. So someone posted... it's a screenshot. And it's someone's status on Twitter. And it says, one time I was at a Q&A with Nora Roberts. I don't know who that is. And someone asked her how to balance writing and kids. And she said that the key to juggling it is know that some of the balls that you have in the air are made of plastic and some are made of glass. The main takeaway is that some balls will drop and that's fine. It's too damn hard to keep everything in the air and that's a pressure we don't need to put on ourselves. So basically just give yourself some slack. Give yourself a break. There's no picture of perfection. There's no right or wrong. You literally do the best with what you have to work with because every single one of our situations are different. Some people have more help from family and friends. We kind of have your mom. So on Fridays, your mom will come and take JR for sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's a couple hours. But your mom also has to take care of your grandmother who has dementia. And if you know if you know anything about, if you've ever experienced that, it's kind of like two toddlers, and it's sometimes worse. Yes, and they fight with each other. JR fights with, he calls her Lala,
and sometimes she picks it.
I've seen her do it.
I've seen her do it too.
She'll give him something that isn't a toy, and then when he gets it and then is like flinging it around, then she gets mad at him and takes it away from him because, again, it's not a toy. One perfect example is her cane.
Or he'll hurt himself.
Right. And so then she takes it away, and well, now, as you know, any kid who's given something, especially something that's not a toy, and then it's taken away right away, then they're upset. And so, yeah, your mom has to manage the two, and sometimes it works better than others. Sometimes she takes him to the park to, get him away for a little bit, but she can only be away from your grandmother for so long. Right. So, yeah, it's, some people have more help from in-laws or their parents. If you've ever moved away, you don't have anybody to help.
And some people have older kids that go to school, a little more self-sufficient.
Or that can help when they get a little bit older. Then, I've seen some people say that they remove the masking from these 10 pieces, and they actually pay them a little bit. Like it's an allowance, and they try to get them to help out, like, reward system. Like, you help mommy, then this goes quicker, and then you get a little bit of money or whatever. Or if they're in that like lucky stage where they love to help, because then it feels like they get to be involved. But I'm definitely not at that stage yet where JR can really help do anything. Let's see. This one I have my kids help. Yeah. Taping a box, babysitting the laser, trying to teach them work ethic. A lot of people have hired babysitters a couple times a week, which I would love to do as well sometime. For my kids who were in school, I only worked when they went to sleep. So I hired a cleaning lady. I want to hire a chef. There was another. This one was good too. Think of it as an 8 to 5 or a 3 to 1. Clock in mentally and clock out, no exceptions. So that I would love to eventually have a schedule that I attempt to stick to. Because it's hard if you are working out of your home to, it's right there. Oh, and let me go get this done real quick. Right. And then it's never as quick as you think it's going to be. Or I'm going to finish this one thing and then I'll be done. It's hard to stop and walk away when it's in your home. And so, I especially with the second one fast approaching, I'm going to have to try and figure out, attempting to get the baby on a schedule, and I'm going to have to work as much as I can while JR is in school, and then basically planning to be done by 2:30 when he gets home. Right. And then, if I have the energy, attempting again after he goes to sleep around 8:30. So, yeah, I mean, I would I'm trying to give some solid advice, but you literally just have to do the best you can, and you delegate where you can. Like Emily, I remember her first year that she was doing it, her ornaments were going crazy, and I think she hired a neighbor or someone, and she was either in high school or college, and she would help assemble the ornaments that I think even maybe paint them. She would assemble the ornaments that Emily had cut, and she paid her, I don't know how much, an hour.
Right.
So something like that, especially if you have a best-selling product or something like that. Unfortunately with mine, there's not a lot of, with designing and that kind of stuff, there's not a lot of areas for me to get help. And then the areas that I can get help, I'm a control freak.
Right.
And so it'd be really, really hard for me to give up something, because then I'm worried, like if I gave up the shipping part, which that's one part that I hate, I'd be worried that they packed it properly and that it's not going to break during shipment, because if it does, then that's something I have to remake or, refund their money on, or both. So I'll have to eventually find a way to delegate what, because then, besides my laser business, I don't make a ton of physical products right now, but with trying to find the time to design and list and take pictures and then selling the wholesale keychain things, I'm also managing I don't know how many Facebook groups, and so, trying to stay on top of the notifications, and is there anything going on, and God forbid if there's any kind of like drama on like a file, or it'll take, a couple hours to figure it out. And then, you have to talk with Emily or whoever and decide like, how are we going to handle this? And then you're always the bad guy on one side. So it's just.
Right. And then in comes your husband and says, "Hey, are there any podcasts going on? Maybe we should start a podcast."
What were you thinking?
I was thinking it was a great idea.
It was, and it is. We're almost at 1,000 listeners, or 1,000 plays.
That's crazy.
It's nuts.
And I was looking at like 137 devices.
Estimated. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Last week.
And it's like international. How many countries? There was like
I forgot.
Different countries or something like that.
Well, yes.
Some we had never even heard of.
That was Malta.
Yeah.
I don't know where I gotta look it up.
Yeah.
But so shouts out to you in Malta.
Right.
You're like, talking about it, you forget that they're listening to this part. So shouts out to Malta and across the United States.
Yeah.
Like reading it was like, wait, do they just give you all the states? And then, so I had to go to my other podcast that also has not nearly the numbers that we're doing here, but but it has decent numbers. And I looked, and we only have like a handful of states. So it's not that
you were reading them all off to me, and I was like, okay, you should probably just find the ones that we don't have instead of the ones we do.
Right. It's crazy, and I mean it's like less than 1% in each one. Like so, it's like one person probably in each one, but still.
And it's hard because all of these things are things that we enjoy doing. Like I actually enjoy, surprisingly, I like this more than I really thought I was going to. And so, we just have to work on finding and affording. That's the other part, is the more you delegate, when you delegate, it usually costs. Unless, you have family, older kids, friends, whatever. So yes, we delegated the laundry, but now that's another $50 to $60 or so that we're spending so that we can spend time with each other and not on laundry, and
or get
same with cleaning done, and all that kind of stuff. But then you just kind of find the balance. So I know one big thing that I delegated that was way worth the money to me was my finances. And I don't know if I've talked about that already, but
I don't think so.
So I asked a local laser friend, and because she knows a ton of people, Mindy, and she recommended her friend Meg Gallo. And so I think the Gallo Group, is their name. But anyway, they do my accounting. I pay like $150 a quarter, and I literally just send them my statements, and they do it all for me. And I have a bachelor's degree in finance. Like I could do it myself, but I don't want to. Right. And I was spending $30 a month for the accounting software that I had, and I wasn't doing it. I was paying for it, but I wasn't actually going through the work of putting everything in myself and, figuring out like where things went. And my financials were a hot mess. It was bad. So anyway, spending $20 more a month for it to be someone else's problem has been amazing. Yeah. And then the best part was, I think the first 2 quarters, I teamed up with another maker, the guy who actually bought my laser, he had a CNC at the time, and I teamed up with him, and we made a sign, and I didn't have to pay my first quarter because we switched the services for the sign. So, little things like that, but there's definitely some that the money is way worth the responsibilities that it relieves on your end.
Yeah, 100%.
So we'll just have to get better at doing that. And unfortunately, then that means you have to work a little bit harder.
So if you want to purchase ad space on this podcast, please let us know.
So that we can hire a cleaning lady.
If you want to support a cleaning lady, we can read ads and you can pay us for ads.
Hey, maybe we find a cleaning lady that we can advertise.
Once a month we give her, yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. One episode, one commercial a week for one
right.
cleaning a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a pretty big, there it is.
Let's do it. Let's work on that. Anyway.
So if you know a cleaning lady that needs ad space,
let us know in South Florida. Yeah, I don't really have a lot. I'm really, I'm struggling. I'm ready for bed. I feel like we've covered as much as you can. It's literally, you're not the only one. If you're struggling, you're not the only one who's struggling. We are literally all struggling. And if someone looks like they have it together, they probably don't.
Right.
And if they do, there's totally something that is potentially falling through the cracks, or they've been doing it for years and they figured out what worked for them. And again, what works for them may not work for you, because everybody's family is a little bit different as far as some toddlers are a little more difficult than others. Some babies are super cooperative, and some are colicky. And so,
well, and I guess another thing also, which we touched on, I forget what other episode, was just don't take on too much, I guess. Maybe those people that do seem to get it together, they have a limited amount of things that they take on.
They
don't add a podcast.
Don't offer everything. It's so easy to do. I think we did talk about it before, where I would take any paying job. It was like, okay, yes, right. I need the money, let me take it. And now I'm like, it either has to be something that I can then turn into a file. It has to be something I really want to make. It has to be something that I have the time to make. Sometimes I'll get requests and they're like, oh, I need this next week. And I'm like, can't, sorry.
Right.
I love you. Even if it's something I want to make, I know that would be putting unnecessary stress on me, and I could potentially not get it done, or it won't be the quality that I expect in my products.
Or you have a mental breakdown halfway through.
I've had many of those. Yeah. So just don't fill your plate too much with things you don't have to, and just keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Like we said, remember, this is a passion and not a job.
Keep it.
Yeah.
Keep it that way.
Keep it. Don't focus on how much you're going to make or whatever. Just remember, this is, you're following a passion, a dream.
Yeah.
Something you've always wanted to do. So
I made a post in That Mom with the Laser a couple days ago, and I've really been struggling with motivation and energy and all that lately. And I finally, I went back and I looked at some of my old Watchman designs, and I was like, how can I turn this into something else? And I took one of my favorite florals from my Watchman design. I turned it into world's best mom keychain, and then I also had to do a world's okayest mom keychain, because that's I struggle to be serious, so I have to always try and add in some humor where I can. Those are the things.
Right.
Those are the things I want to do, and I had orders. I had things I needed to work on. There's totally something that could be cleaned in the house, and I was just like, this is what I want to do, and I needed to do that because I was just so unmotivated, and I was like, ugh, I have this and this and this and this and this to do, and it was like, you know what, screw all of that. And my takeaway from the post was like, if you're struggling, if you're feeling unmotivated, you're not enjoying yourself, screw it all make something you want to make, get it out of your system. And a lot of times when you make something like that, it draws people to it as well, because you actually enjoyed yourself while you were making it.
Right.
It totally will show in your work if you're like,
well, and also,
I loved this.
Right. If you love to do it, you want to show it off. So therefore,
Exactly.
you post about it. And
Right.
It's not a chore.
Right.
Like you don't have to. Oh, I gotta take a picture of this.
Right.
And you want to do
Yeah.
it. So you don't.
No, I was excited to like post it for once and like
Right.
share, and I didn't mind if somebody wanted to order one because I actually really liked it. And then I took that keychain design and then I turned it into a sign design. That's another kind of like time saver laser hack is. Heather always calls it like recycling. So you take an existing, and I mean, it already started with recycling because I took a floral from Watchband design I had already made, months before. And then I just added the words and a keychain shape, basically. And so you can take something little and turn it into a completely different project with just a few minor alterations. And it helps revive me a little bit, and then JR got sick.
Yep.
And woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then so you try again the next day. And I have a bunch of appointments this week, so I'm literally, I'm gonna give myself grace and just do the best that I can. Get what I can done, and the rest, try again tomorrow. Add a little bit more coffee. For those who can drink, they drink. That's a lot of the comments usually on those kind of posts is, how do you manage it all? And they said with coffee and wine. So it's a lot of coffee in the morning and sometimes a lot of wine at night afterwards. So
yeah, I can see that.
I've also realized though that anytime I have wine, don't laser on wine. It hasn't worked out for me a few times in the past. So now I know if I want wine, I can start, but I know that that's going to be the start to the end of my lasering for the day. Like I can, okay, let me finish these few things up and I have like a glass of wine. I'm on my way out.
Right.
I'm shutting down or cutting that last job. 'Cause there's been many times that I look at it the next day and I'm like, this is not as great as I thought it was yesterday after my third glass of wine. Let me go ahead and make some little adjustments with my coffee brain instead of my wine brain. Yeah.
Well, I hope you guys got a takeaway from this podcast.
Hopefully, you got something from it.
It's just, there is no solve all. There is no across. This is what
There's
you
no
do.
perfect sauce.
Whatever works, whatever you find works best for you. Just remember what's important.
Yes.
Prioritize, and there's always tomorrow.
Right.
That should be the theme. I think that's what the title of this episode is.
There's always tomorrow. This is totally like a procrastinator's anthem, which is
kind of like when we're on the fence about buying something from the supermarket. You're like, well, it's not like we're not going to use it.
I say that way too much.
You say that a lot, and we have a lot of like doubles. You're like, well, it's not like we're not going to use it. Might as well buy it. So
we usually do.
No, yes. There's always tomorrow.
Yeah. So next week, so we had Amanda on last week.
Right.
And so next week I reached out to Casey Cruz from Smoky Hill Designs. He's what makes up the group Smoky Tides on Facebook, which is Smoky Hill Designs, and he supplies wood, MDF, pattern ply, veneer, a whole bunch of stuff. And Amanda supplies the acrylic side of it. And so they kind of teamed up a while ago to kind of, get both sides of it. Like, hey, I'm going to take care of the wood part, you take care of the acrylic part, and let's have this kind of community together. And they have a pretty big group on Facebook. I think it's like 10,000 or so members the last time I checked, and that was a long time ago.
Where is he based out of?
He's in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so...
I was thinking Smoky Hill in Colorado.
Oh, yeah. So he we're gonna have him on next week, and he said he has an announcement.
Oh,
so that's cool. Like that, right? But
exclusive.
I know. I can't wait. This is really fun. Like I was really excited when he said that because it was like, ooh, people can like announce big news on the podcast,
Yeah,
and
they can reach out and say, "Hey, I got this this huge project or whatever
that I want to roll out and announce in a big way or whatever." So so he has some news or new products to share. So he'll be here next week. So we'll have the smoky part of Smoky Tights.
Cool. So stay tuned for that. And once again, thank you for listening.
Yes,
and,
we love you guys.
Share the podcast. Obviously, you're already listening, so you're subscribed.
Bring in more reviews. I think we're up to 7.
Yes, just keep reviewing. Tell us what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah.
Tell a friend that's in the community. Say, hey, you really got to listen to this podcast. Let them know what takeaways you have from it. Maybe let them know your favorite episode, or even
the laser hacks episode did really well.
Well.
I've gotten some really good feedback on that. So we're glad to be able to help. Yeah.
And feel free if you're in a group and someone asks a question that you heard us answer, just
throw it out
in
there.
the comments. Send the link from either Spotify or Apple.
Yeah.
And that's been another episode for the Riley Black Project with Crystal and John.
Bye.